don't lag. Okay, I see it. Okay. Hi everyone. See some people joining. Hi everyone. Hi Gargle. I always get it wrong. No, it's okay. But honestly, from all of you guys, definitely I would say that I see that there has been that a bit of a like a learning curve, and I think that is okay. So like a lot of you guys like improved like quite massively since I first started like teaching you guys again. So definitely yeah, improvement is definitely possible. It's something that you guys should not be like afraid of, okay? Hi Jaden. That's a very interesting spelling of the name Jaden. I've only heard of Jayden. I've never heard of Jaiden. Interesting. But yes, yeah, so definitely I feel like a lot of people are rushing to like jump grades at this time, especially since we're getting closer and closer to like PSLE and O's. But I think it's also very important for you guys to actually view progress as something that is, firstly, it is something that it takes time, number one, and also at the same time, you also have to keep on, be aware, how much have I progressed previously, there has to be a bit of a correlation between how much work you're doing. If you're focusing on another subject, you can't imagine that you are going to be improving consistently and a subject that you are not actively working on, right? Okay, so definitely it is yeah, but definitely don't lose hope for those who are on the verge of losing hope, because I know exactly how it feels like. Don't. All right, things can and will get better. All right, so but also remember, other than your studies, also hold on to those friendships, hold on to those relationships with whatever of your teachers, whatever of your classmates, whatever with your families. All right, these are all relationships that will become, I would say they are all important. All right, and especially relationships with your current classmates. When you guys change, move to a different school, they might become a bit strained. All right, so it is also important to focus on those as well. Hi Ozil, you changed your profile pic. What did the late tomato say to the early tomato? I'll catch up. Wow. That is, I forgot what these kind of things are called. I don't even know what they're called in Chinese. I don't know. I don't know what you call these kind of like. It's not a joke, but like, I forgot what it's called. Anyways, you guys get what I mean. All right. Yeah. Hi. I see a lot of new people joining. All right. Okay. Okay, so yeah, let's begin. All right, O-level oral discussion. Okay, we went through digital citizenship halfway last week. All right, so we have okay, so for those who are doing O levels here, this is great for you. I know Ozil is doing O levels, but I don't know how many like other people in this live are doing O's. Okay, but don't worry, because we will also be doing some PSLE content in a bit. Right, so we just want to switch things around here and there. So I'll be doing O's at the start and then a bit of PSLE at the end. All right. If there's any specific topic that you guys would like me to go through, you guys can also let me know. All right, but yes, a lot of students have been also asking me why you are not doing questions anymore, and I always tell students that we have. You guys might notice we also focused on questions and compo a lot previously. Okay, now the issue with that is that we also do want to make sure that students are well prepped in oral. So we are doing a bit of a mini crash course in our lives now. So we are just going through topics again and again. All right. So for students who are struggling a bit with the oral exam, this is great for you as well. All right, let's begin. Okay, so a bit of a recap. We talked about responsible social media behavior, and this one requires you to can I request O level editing practices? Ooh, um, are there any teachers currently teaching O level paper two? Are there any teachers teaching O level paper two, like in our life, in the lives?
In the live, you're the only one for now.
But I'm not teaching paper two though.
Oh no, O level paper 2, no.
No.
We're focusing on oral fest because it's coming up on Monday.
Yeah. Oral is coming up very, very soon. Like, yeah, Teacher Mitsuko, everyone's excited that you're here. Teacher Mitsuko is sitting behind the camera. She is moderating, so you guys can text her. All right. Hi, Aiki's dad. All right. Okay, so let's now take a look. Okay, so for responsible social media behavior, okay, so we're talking about how to practice it. All right, so first things first, we have positive engagement. It is to like and comment, okay, constructively in your friends' achievements. All right, now this is also something that is very important. Not only in it's important that you keep being constructive in your comments towards other people. Okay, even in real life. Right? Hi, Keys. That is it. Akis, Akis, Akis. I don't know which pronunciation is correct, but okay. Um, Okay, so we also have privacy. Okay, so now it's also important to review your privacy controls on Instagram and TikTok. Okay, so to make sure that you are not sharing things to some people that you don't want to. Maybe you're privating your account. You are not showing your face. All right, so these are all important. All right, created sharing. Okay, to check if content is accurate, respectful, and appropriate for all age groups. Okay, so no profanities, no misinformation. All right, so you're not posting about very controversial information that you have no backup evidence for. All right, why is someone's dad's here? It might just be your username. I'm not quite sure. I had I saw some username saying someone's mom, and I was like wondering the same like question as Ozil here. All right. Also, we have avoid controversy. Okay, we did. I just said this one. Okay, so it's to refrain from engaging in online arguments about sensitive issues to also avoid escalations. All right. So this is something that could potentially lead to online bullying. All right. This is something that can be very stressful both on the receiver and also the person who is issuing the hate. All right. Also, healthy time limit. Okay, this is very important because I was just going previously. My friends and I were doing a project, and we were doing, I wouldn't say a survey. There were some people who asked us, all right, so what is your screen time? I don't know if anyone here can guess my screen time. I will search out my screen time right now, and then you guys can guess. All right, you guys can guess what my screen time would be. I was quite surprised myself as well. All right, because the people who interviewed us were also very surprised because okay. You know what? It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Daily average is not that bad. It is 29% lower than last week. Alright, but let's say last week. Last week's was quite surprising. But it's not the worst, unfortunately. Okay, if anyone can guess my screen time.
Per day.
Per day, like a daily average. Teacher Mitsuko will guess.
4 hours.
You have such high hopes in me. You have such...
More than
7 hours, 26 minutes.
What?
I'm not even joking.
So much time.
And
I wish to have that much.
Oh no, and I think it's also because when I do live streams, my phone is always on, so it's like always consistently on. And when I listen to like
then it counts now.
yeah, it counts for them as well. But I had a friend who went up to 15, so
the entire waking hour.
Exactly, and I was like, that is kind of crazy.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to talk about for this theme, especially.
It is, definitely is. Okay, so it is also these are also things that you can share that you can say that it is important, okay, to limit TikTok and Instagram time to maybe 30 minutes daily. I don't think 30 minutes is possible but for me at this stage, but like yeah, it is we can hope, okay, and it's always a good answer to give to teachers, all right? It's a answer they wish to hear as well, okay? So you can use phone screen time function to switch off feeds during study hours, all right? So these are all things that you can do, okay? My social media behavior can best be described as complete abstinence. I don't use it. Oh, honestly, that is how that is actually one of the best ways to make sure that you're, always progressing in something that is constructive. All right, so it is definitely it is good behavior. It is highly encouraged as well. Okay, but at the same time, if people can't do it, it's okay. I can't do it either, and I'm not giving myself excuses. But social media in this case can be very, very tempting. Right? It is very, very usual to see, like, see, even in the MRT, even in the trains, people are staring at their screens. People are staring at their screens while walking. They're listening to music while walking. Everything has to do with your phone nowadays. So it is also understandable. Right? But yes, that's a bit on the side note. All right. Also, okay, as another social media behavior, responsible behavior that you can practice. Okay, you can report inappropriate content. So if you see anything like profanities, anything that might cause harm to someone, reporting immediately is a good solution. So I can't even elaborate, and I feel the examiner won't even know what to ask me. Okay, I think this is quite like it can be an issue in the oral exam, because when it comes to the questions that teachers might ask, not every question is something that someone has an answer to. Like I was talking about the environmental responsibility previously, about how we can talk. What if the teachers ask you, what volunteering activities do you do? What activities or programs do you do to give back to the environment? So what should you say if you have not done anything, right? Now, this is also one of the biggest reasons why we are going through this, all right? So, for students that, you guys don't have that specific experience, it is completely fine, all right? We're not asking you to pick up a specific experience because of the oral exam. Okay, now what can substitute this is reading. All right, so reading the news, you can also get more info. Okay, so get more info about certain ways of living, certain activities that can help you answer these kind of questions better. Or in this case, in this lives where we do go through possible answers, you can always jot down a few for topics that you feel like you have very little connection to. So when you're actually asked those kind of questions in the exam, you can just give the answers, right? Doesn't necessarily have to be true. I'm not encouraging lying at the same time, but when it comes to the oral exam, it is a bit of a special situation, right? Okay, so these are all methods that you guys can use. Okay, like I was talking previously about it's actually quite interesting. I think you guys heard me say it like this is the third time, but for me, I think there was a question previously about what behaviors do you do to reduce waste. All right, so for me, unfortunately, I feel like this is something that I wish to change. I am not um okay, I don't actively do anything to reduce waste, okay, but I have, for me, read some stories. Okay, like previously I came across a story about a woman who identified as a freegan. Okay, now a freegan is someone who she essentially does not want to have anything to do with consumerism. Okay, it's someone who rejects consumerism and seeks to help the environment by reducing waste. All right, so it is someone who believes that everything should be secondhand where possible. All right, and this lady also just had a newborn baby, so she was talking about how newborn baby items can be found can be found secondhand. All right, and she found no reason to make new purchases for her baby. And while it was met with some people were like, oh, isn't it like not clean? Is it there's like a sanitary issue? There were a lot of people as well who thought that this was a very like noble deed and habit that she had. All right, so yeah, definitely these are all things that you guys can read up more about. All right, but of course, go to the more reliable websites, whether it is Straits Times. You can even go to, whether you're talking about like maybe even Give Asia, maybe even Mothership. All right, you can go to these websites. All right, or you could go to BBC News. All right, these are all places that you guys can go to get a bit more information about, you know, what to talk about during your oral exam. Use social media to teach English to primary school kids. But yeah, so there is a lot of different ways that you could read up on this. All right, you not necessarily have to use social media. All right, you can always buy you know, physical copies of like newspapers to actually read up more. Okay, these are all good methods. All right, yeah, definitely you can steal your parents' newspapers and actually take a read. Yeah, these are all great ways. All right, yeah, all right. Okay, next question. All right, so the next question that I wrote was, how can teenagers avoid online misinformation effectively? All right, so definitely misinformation, false information. These things are quite prominent nowadays, especially given the emphasis on social media. Oh, oh. That was mine for a second. All right. No, I hate that iPhones have all the same alarm sounds. I can never tell. All right. Um, Okay, so how can teenagers avoid online misinformation effectively? Okay, to check URLs and domains. Okay, so verify if it established media is authentic. All right, so you can check. I asked my mom if the information is true. Okay, that is actually one of the best answers. You can seek adult guidance.
Not reliable though.
Still not reliable. More reliable than thinking about it yourself. A little bit more reliable. Okay, so seek adult guidance. Okay, if unsure before reposting controversial news, but the best way is to just not, you know, speak about controversial news, not repost anything, especially in social media. All right. Okay, water break for me. All right. So what you can also do is cross-check news resources. Okay, so you can compare information on Straits Times, CNA, and BBC. Oh, I forgot CNA. Right. Before believing viral posts, all right? So it is also possible for people to be reusing images from different events, all right? So that is also considered misinformation, even if, you know, the content is correct, right? So these are all things to be very, very careful about, okay? Okay, so to analyze photos and videos, all right? So to reverse image search to check if photos are out of context, okay? Out of context is also super important, all right? And to read beyond headlines. Now, when it comes to what do you call that? News, all right? News, magazines, posts, there's always something called a hook. We have to understand that what people they want to do is to make sure that there is something eye-catching enough that people want to read in. Okay, however, just because it's a hook, these things can be a bit more exaggerated for the sake of a hook, but it might not be at that extent. Okay, so it is important to read beyond the headlines and to, you know, scan and see if the information is true. All right, to pause before sharing. Okay, that is always very true. Okay, and that is that is with everything actually you think before, you know, doing an action, right? So it is similar to that as well. All right, and the next one we also have, what are the biggest challenges of digital communication? Or I can foresee this like actually coming up, because this is a question that I feel like teachers would ask to make things a bit harder, all right? Because it is easy for your brain to go blank with this, all right? Now, when you're saying the biggest challenges of digital communication, the first thing you can do is break things down. Okay, what is digital communication? Okay, digital communication can be from anything to from media, all right, to anything online content, all right? Now, when you're talking about what are the biggest challenges, we can start with thinking about what are the characteristics of digital communication, and then boiling down to which one of these characteristics might be problematic. All right, so first things first, we can say cyberbullying. Okay, that is quite it is the first one that comes to mind, cyberbullying and harassment. Okay, so you can say this is a bit of stats for students who do want to show off a bit that you're very well read. Okay, now CNA reported that 74% of teens encountered harmful content online, with 45% facing it on Instagram or Facebook. All right, that is actually a lot, okay? 74% is not a little amount, all right? 74%, all right? And also misinterpretation, all right? That is a big challenge of digital communication, all right? And also, okay, tone and context, okay, lack of tone and context, okay. So now when you're reading things online, okay, there's a lack of facial cues, so a sarcastic reply can come across as mean, all right. Digital communication lacks the human element that comes from body language, definitely, okay, definitely, okay. So a lack of cues and context, okay. And also footprint, all right. Footprints, digital footprints are permanent, all right. So messages, photos can be saved and resurfaced later to affect reputation, all right. So it is very important that there is certain like privacy, there are certain privacy restrictions, there are certain, you know, you are not exposing everything about yourself online, all right, because these things all leave certain footprints, all right. Okay, now and also it is possible to have a false sense of connection. All right, so longer screen usage may cause families to lack, you know, face-to-face communication. All right, so these are all things that can be issues. All right, yeah, I can't tell lies because everything is recorded, but that is a good thing. That is a good thing.
You have to think that way. That's how integrity works. There's you, you're always watched, and people listen to you even when you're on your own.
So teacher Mitsuko says that is how integrity works. You always have to assume that you're being watched, okay? And you shouldn't be telling lies. Ooh. I agree with that. I agree with that. But the idea that you're always being watched is kind of scary to me.
Especially online, digital footprint is real.
That is true.
Everyone must be extra careful.
That is true. I can't imagine the lives of celebrities, idols, and can you imagine one single like maybe even a typo might just
And even,
go viral.
People know who they follow and unfollow. And people
No,
make
that
a fuss
that
about it.
no, that part is crazy to me.
It's crazy.
No, because each of them have, some of them follow quite a lot of people. If you see the numbers change, okay, that makes a bit of sense. But then, why are you stalking their profile all the time? And then why are you scrolling through every single person they follow? I can't make that.
Story out of
That
it.
is-
Because they unfollow one person.
That is.
There's a whole story around it. and
Does
just
the
friends.
don't like, not like the, and it's like crazy to me. Yeah. I would not survive as an idol. I would not survive as a celebrity. I am too. Yeah. It would not work out. All right. Now, describe a positive online community experience you've had. All right. This is another one of those questions where you just might not have experience with. All right. And that's completely fine. All right. Not all of us join online community experiences or forums. All right. I did not join one until quite recently, actually. I have never previously, when I was in OLS, when I was in PSLE, I did not, I was not in any online community. So back then I would not have like an answer to this question. All right. So now here are some options for you if you are, you know, in the same situation. All right. MOE Digital Citizenship Lessons. All right. So it's an online quiz which helps students to understand digital ethics before moderating school forums. All right. School wellness forum. Okay, so students can join a group to share exam stress tips. All right, or you know, just to bond and actually help each other. All right. Virtual study groups, okay, is to share study materials and help and hold each other accountable. All right. Now, the idea of holding each other accountable is that making sure that everyone is doing their work, everyone is always on task. All right. Local art and hobby forums, okay, this is one that is quite good. All right, to share art and gain feedback and connections. Okay, so it doesn't always have to be art. Okay, maybe if you are interested in music, or maybe if you're interested in literature, all right, these are things that you can join. I joined Writers at Work TikTok and improved my English as well. Right, we are an online community as well. Right, we are. So you can say us. Okay, you join Writers at Work TikTok and improved English. Yeah. So that is something that you can say as well. All right. So that is. See, we're giving you guys options as well. We're giving you guys that experience to help you guys with your oral exam. All right. Ooh. Okay. Now we're end of recap. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So how does screen time affect family interactions? Ooh, we kind of went through that just now. I don't know if anyone remembers. Okay. Okay. So screen time. Okay. So family interactions. Okay. So what answers might there be? Please let me know if you guys have any answers. Please let me know. Addiction to entertainment. I feel like definitely that could be like what do you call that? It could be a very general how does screen time affect you kind of question. Addiction to entertainment. So what does entertainment your addiction to entertainment mean to your relationship with your families? Okay, so it has to be specific to family interactions, right? When I was born, my dad put the iPad in front of me. I don't know what life is without it. Oh no. Okay, I don't know. I feel like it might be I don't know. Would it be a generation gap? I don't know. But back then we did not have those only books. We only had books. We only had actual toys to play with. I had like board games. I wasn't given like I was only given like a small it was like like a foldable TV, like a laptop. But it had like the push in disc. So you had to like press it and you insert a CD inside. I don't know if you guys still have those. And the only time I was allowed to use that was when I was traveling. Okay, they didn't. My parents didn't want me to make a fuss, so they would let me watch it. I was not given iPad privilege. I did not have an iPad until I was in primary 5, and the only device that I had to myself was a small little Nokia phone, which I could play Snakes and Ladders on, and I could contact my parents on, and that was it. And mind you, the screen is smaller than this box of mints. The screen is smaller than this box of mints. It's like small, you know? What's a CD? No way! Oh my god!
You can draw it for them. Yeah.
A CD is no way. Did I actually not? Wait,
Oh
CDs only like stopped quite. I wouldn't say recently, but
Yeah.
were they born when CD was?
You probably have not seen one. Or probably some of them. I would say I mostly have heard of it. I wouldn't assume they have seen it.
Wait, did CD stop before 2010?
No.
No, not that.
2011, 2012, perhaps I would say until 2013, 14. Still have a very few. But yeah, correct. It's not.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy to me. Because CDs were my life when we were kids. Because it was such a luxury to be able to buy a movie that you like.
Correct.
Yeah. I would beg my parents for that specific Barbie CD. That's crazy that you guys don't know what a CD is. A CD is something like looks like this. I can't believe I could draw out what a CD is. That's so mind blowing to me. Is it that phone that cannot break no matter how you drop it? That's the Nokia. Yeah. I had a little Nokia and it was like this. It looked like this. You have a very, very small screen. And then like little buttons like this. Like very, very tiny buttons like this. Like, is it safe to assume screen time erodes family interaction? Yes, you can say that. Or should the perspective skew towards technology enhancing family time? Okay. Now, okay, definitely if your teacher asks you a follow-up question, okay, or if you just want to add a bit of depth to your answer, you can say that, hey, but always you have to focus on the question. They say, how does screen time affect your family interaction? You can say, screen time does take away from family interaction, okay? It takes away the priorities, okay? It might take away time, all right? But when if your teacher will ask you were to ask you any follow-up, okay, or maybe, you know, is there a possibility that screen time might help family interactions, then you can say that technology can enhance family time, okay, or make it a bit more, you know, engaging, a bit more fun, okay. These are all possible answers, okay. Definitely before the follow-up question, definitely focus a bit more about how screen time takes away from family time, okay. So we can talk a bit about, wait, let's see this. Okay, you can say that especially for parent and child, you can say lower parent child bonding, all right. Okay, so there's actually a CNA study, I'm gonna write it down here, okay. I am you. That's such a. For this question, can you answer it in positive and negative? Ooh. For this, do you think that I feel like definitely we'll focus more on answering the question first. Definitely. I think you can bring up a bit of the
Positive for this one could be for people who are not physically together. Especially when, for example, parents are working abroad.
No, I think the question they want to ask is because over here the connotation is that screen time is negative. Is there a possibility that they can also add the positive nature of screen time to their answers? So definitely it would add depth, but they have to focus more on answering the question first. Yeah.
How does screen time affect your family interactions? Yeah, it does lean towards negative, but there is you can discuss the positive.
That's true. That's true.
As in
Yeah.
family interactions wherein you are planning an activity together, but it involves screen, for example.
That's
There are
fair.
games.
That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. Right. So yeah, definitely you can say positive and negative. All right. So you can definitely say that first answer the question. Okay. So there is, I would say personally I would answer it with the negatives first. Okay, because the
Easier to argue.
yeah, you say effect, if not the answer would have been the question would have been impact, okay. Impact would have been positive or negative. Effect, okay, you can say that, okay, screen time, okay, screen time does take away from maybe face to face bonding that you can have with your parents, all right. But at the same time, screen time can and technology can be extremely beneficial if you are having if you are not living with your parents, okay, maybe you are living abroad, studying abroad, all right, or yeah, or you are having fun games online that you are using to enhance family time. These are all answers that you can give, right? So definitely it is a good way to go about this, definitely. Okay, so lower parent and child bonding. Okay, so now the CNA study, essentially it suggests that when parents scroll, when parents scroll, children display, oh, what happened? Display behavioral issues and weaker bonds, right? So that is something to note. Okay, so this is something that you can add, right? And there's also, like I mentioned, reduced FaceTime. Okay. Okay, so you can say that there is reduced FaceTime, all right? Delayed communication. Maybe your parents or maybe you are too busy scrolling on your phone to actually answer. So responses are late, all right? And there is a bit of a strained communication and plan making, okay? So late responses, strained communication, and plan making. Okay, and what else can we put? Does anyone else have any answers? All right. Anyone else have any answers? Okay, now you can say emotional distance. Emotional distance. All right, you can talk about how. Okay, okay, this is another study, CNA study. CNA notes that 1 in 10 Singaporean teens, okay, face mental issues, and and how family time. Hi Ryan, remember me? Yeah, I do, of course. For response. I dropped my phone in water. Oh no. My previous two phones. No. My first phone, I lost it because I didn't lose it. I broke it because it dropped into the toilet bowl, so I understand. Alright. Because I talk to them on WhatsApp, I have time to craft my reply, and this avoids conflicts. Ooh, for some people, having time to craft their answers creates more conflicts because you're even meaner. That's why I didn't come to remember me. Wait, let me see. Oh, what happened? My arm clicked the. Where'd it go? Okay, here. Did you change your profile pic by any chance? Or did you change your username by any chance? That's why I didn't come to life. Oh no. I remember a long time ago when I went out for hot pot with my friends. What happened was that they were joking about showing each other something on our phones. And what happened is they got a bit agitated and someone accidentally dropped their phone into the hot pot. And that was a crazy experience because we didn't know what to do and we just sat there until someone yelled, "Just take it out!" And after that we were like quickly went to fish it out. It was a crazy experience. Yes. Oh, maybe that's why I don't remember you. What was your previous username? Maybe I'll remember. All right. Okay, you can also, let's see what others. All right. Okay, and you can say but of course there is constructive use. IDK. Oh, was your username IDK? I'm like, huh? I'm trying to remember everyone's usernames. All right. Yes. Okay. Then I remember you. I usually remember the people who come into the live. All right. Okay. Now, okay, constructive use. Okay, that is one of the pros. All right. So it is a pro. Okay. So video calls. To family abroad. Okay, and okay, these are all great ways. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, what cybersecurity habits should students adopt? All right, this is a good question. All right, so what kind of habits can students adopt? Does anyone know this answer? All right, please show me your answers. Okay. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, now we're talking about cybersecurity habits that students can adopt. All right, use Mac free virus scan every day. Ooh, okay. So definitely you can say okay, using virus scans or frequently updating phones and laptops. All right. Okay, now outdated software is vulnerable to hackers. Okay. Don't download unknown files. All right. Okay, and also you can say avoid clicking. Okay, avoid clicking unknown links. Okay, yes, that is all correct. All right, strong password. And 2FA. Okay, you can say that is two-factor. It's authentication, right? Yeah. All right, so these are all. What is the chicken bouncing around? It's a duck. I think it's one of the cutest filters that we have. Don't connect to open Wi-Fi. Wait, really? That is something I didn't know. Is it dangerous to connect to open Wi-Fi? I do that every time I go overseas, though. I didn't know that. Yes, it is. Really? Wait. I need to check this out. I did not know that. Thank you for telling me. I did not know that. That is crazy. I did not know that. I just know that you're not supposed to like. Oh, okay, okay. Now I feel like I feel real smart in front of you guys. Ah, I see, I see. That's fair. I've only ever used like Capital and Wi-Fi, so I hope that's fine. All right. Also, we can two-factor authentication, right? And then okay, so what you can do is unique passwords. At least 10 characters with numbers, letters, and symbols. Okay, and to enable 2FA for school and important emails. As recommended by IMDA. Alright. So these are all super. Oh, what happened? Super important. Oh, no, my notes. More. Alright, there we go. Okay, and what you can also do, okay, be cautious with friend requests Yes, please don't set your password to password 1. Please don't do that. Alright, so these are all super important. Alright. Okay. So that's about it. Oh, and you can also log out after each session. Okay, and this is especially the case if you're using public computer labs. Alright, these are all things to know. Alright, next question. Describe how technology has changed local community bonds. Okay, that's an interesting question. Does anyone have any answers? Right? How has technology changed? Okay, so we're talking about specifically technology, and we're talking about local community bonds. All right. Okay, now let's take a look, okay? Now, able to launch, not laugh, launch. Because of Tinder, my brother has dated half of my entire estate and I recognize them on the MRT. Oh my god. I am so sorry. Oh wow. That is not an answer I expected to see, but wow. That is unfortunate, alright. So able to launch Teacher Mitsuko is laughing as well. Neighborhood. What's up? No, not what app, it's what's up. Groups, right? Okay, now this creates stronger micro community bonding. Alright, okay, and also virtual meetups during COVID-19. Alright, that was really unfortunate. Virtual meetups during COVID-19. Alright, so HDB blocks organized Zoom based fitness sessions. Alright. Okay, and also means that sharing community news more quickly. Alright, so after this question, okay, we'll take a quick break and then we will start talking about the PSLE ones, alright? Okay, and okay, we also have local commerce, via carousel. Okay, so residents buy and give away household items easily. Alright, and yeah. Okay, this is quite good. Digital hawker support. Grab food, yep, we can say digital hawker support because we're talking about community bonds, all right? So we have to be specific to that, all right? To coordinate, all right? We are oh, why do my notes keep logging themselves out? I dislike this. I dislike this. Oh no. Okay, digital hawker support. All right, so families use apps like Go Express, or Food Panda grab food to order from estate hawkers. All right, so these are all great ways. All right, okay, we'll now be having a short okay. Okay, so actually this is one of the latest promos that we have. Okay, I just want to go through this really quickly before we move on to PSLE. I got bitten by a mosquito indoors. Damn. All right, so what we have over here is a 12-week EOY prep challenge. All right, now this is great for students, okay, to boost your results, okay, especially since you guys are incredibly close to all your exams. All right. Okay, now we will be giving students 2 free lessons, okay, if they register by the 31st of August, okay, 2025, okay, not 2026, okay. Okay, so now this is the attractive part. All right, $390 in savings, okay, up to $390 in savings. Okay, students will be able to get $80 regular fee waiver, as well as a $60 NTUC voucher. All right, so these are all things that students will be getting. All right, provided that you guys sign up and enroll before the 31st of August. All right, so you guys still have quite a bit of time. Okay, but if you guys are interested, this is what we have. It's a 12-week EOY prep challenge. All right, so we have this for PSLE students as well as O-level students. All right, so we are also calling out for secondary school students, okay, to boost their EOY English results and score that A1. Okay, again, 2 free lessons, and for students to enjoy up to $390 in savings. All right, now we would love for students to register by the 31st of August 2025, okay, because that is the due date for this deal. All right, students will also be getting the $80 regular fee waived, as well as the $60 NTUC voucher. All right, so if you guys have any questions, okay, you guys can see the number over there, as well as the number here on top of the screen. I think you guys can see it. Yeah, 84049281. Okay, so you guys can always let us know if you guys have any questions. We have a whole team here waiting to help. All right, so yeah, feel free to let us know, or you can also ask me here in the live directly. Okay, teacher Mitsuko is also moderating the live. Okay, so you can feel free to ask us and we will be happy to tell you. Okay, so you guys can also take a look. Okay, a 12-week EOY English prep challenge. All right, for secondary school students as well as primary school students. All right, so it is one of the best ways for you to really push in that push for that last lap. All right, and really try to get those A1s and AL1s. All right. Okay, so I'll let you guys see the promo again. Okay, so now let us move on to, what was I gonna do? Oh, PSLE, there we go. Okay, Let's there we go. Oh, that is environmental. Okay, so yeah, I do want to talk about environmental again because it is something that is also quite likely to come up, and we only went through it halfway, right? So let's do a bit of a recap, okay? As well as we will go through the rest of the questions, right? For some reason, I keep getting bitten by mosquitoes right as I work. I don't know how.
Are you serious? Oh my god.
I don't know if it's mosquitoes or if something is causing my skin to act up. I cannot figure it out. But the idea that it might be mosquitoes is crazy to me.
Does it happen in a specific room or in all, like in both life rooms?
I'm not quite sure. It just happens like somewhere, just one or two, or like sometimes I can't tell. Or it might be on the way here. Never know.
Possible. But we get the auntie to come and clean.
But that's kind of funny though. That is very funny. All right, maybe it's like an allergen. Maybe it's an allergen. Something in the air. All right. Okay, now let's take a look over here. Okay, PSLE oral discussion, environmental conservation. Okay, so for PSLE students, your time is here. All right, so we will now be going through the PSLE section. All right, feel free to ask me any questions. Okay, so you guys can recap this along with me and let me know. Okay, if there's any other topic that you guys would like to do as well. Okay, so we can take a look together. Okay, so now first things first, okay, environmental conservation. Okay, describe how you reduce waste at home. Okay, this is the one that I talked about, all right, previously, right? Okay, let's take a look. Okay, now first one, turn off electronics when not in use. Okay, that is a big one. Okay, one thing that I do that people always find very odd is that I turn off the Wi-Fi before I sleep. People find it quite weird I do that because sometimes I'm on call, sometimes I'm gonna go turn off the Wi-Fi and they're like, you turn off the Wi-Fi before you sleep. It actually does save electricity, all right, so it is quite interesting. All right, buy reusable containers for leftovers. All right, yeah, this is also one of the good ways to reduce plastic waste. Okay, so for people who like to use those kind of like what do you call it, disposable plastic containers, all right, those are bad for the environment. All right, IDK is back. Are you sure? But yeah, it is a really good way, right? Are you sure it's such an Australian thing to say? Oh my goodness. All right, so yeah. Okay, so when it comes to containers, it is a great idea that you guys are using reusable containers. Okay, you guys can also say like Tupperwares, all right? I think, yeah, it's Tupperwares, right? I was trying to remember. For a second, I thought like Tupperwares was only like the bottle, but it isn't. All right, all right. Now, also for waste, it can be food, plastic, paper. All right. Yeah, these are all great ways. All right. Electronics, yeah, water as well. All right. Okay. Over here. Do you think waste is the same as wastage? Are they that particular? When you say waste usually only means physical waste. But if you're talking about wastage, it could be water and electricity. It's not that particular, right?
I don't think so. Is there something very much different?
I don't know. I can't tell if it's like the nitpicky side of me that's like popping up here.
You say waste is a broader term,
Referring
to anything unused or discarded.
Okay, so it could be water as well.
To the loss or destruction of something, often due to natural causes like decay or erosion.
So it can be electricity and water as well. Yep, that's fair. I'll just add that down. Because I was just thinking about that all the time. I was just like,
That's why. So waste is more generic, because like waste of time, waste of product, what a waste product. But wastage is more specific to loss or destruction of something.
Okay. Hi, Cheer. Oh, hi, Aizen. I just realized I keep calling you Aizen when Aizen might not even be your real name. So you just essentially identify with your username right now, and it's kind of funny. Okay, that's kind of funny. All right. Okay. Okay. Tote bags for shopping. All right, that is a big one. All right. So I think one of the biggest schemes that the Singapore, I don't know if other countries, no, other countries have been doing it as well. Okay. So it is to be asking people to use tote bags for shopping, and to encourage that, they actually have been charging for tote bags. All right. Okay. So yeah, that is something you guys can talk about as well. Okay, buy food based on a grocery list to avoid spoilage and over purchasing. All right, so that is something that is quite a big deal. Okay, because personally for me as well, if I go to a store without a grocery list, you can expect that there is gonna be a lot in the basket. Okay, not so much in Singapore, but when I'm overseas and I'm buying stuff without a list, it goes like crazy. All right, so that is something that is important. All right. Okay, light bulb and appliances are bought for quality and long life to reduce waste. Okay, that is actually quite important. All right, so especially if you're buying those cheap light bulbs, they might not last as long as like more quality light bulbs. Okay, so it is important that maybe you are purchasing if despite like the prices, okay, a little bit more expensive, but you are purchasing quality light bulbs, quality appliances that are not going to spoil like in a month or two. All right. Clothes are also clothes with minor damage are also fixed instead of thrown away. Okay, you can also elaborate on like the effects of fast fashion. Okay, the fast fashion. Okay, and how you at home you are instead buying, you know, quality clothes, mending these clothes when needed. Okay, really focus on the idea that you are mending these quality clothes. All right. Okay, what environmental practices does your school have? Oh, okay. Now, this is quite an interesting one. All right. Newspapers or TVs highlight environmental campaigns. Hi, Aizen. Aizen is back on his account. I turn off my musical fountain. You have a musical fountain when no one is swimming in my swimming pool. Wow. That is cool. That is cool. So that will be the electricity side. All right. I am on computer. I know. Your account is on your computer, and the account with the E on your profile is your mom's phone. See, I remember these small things. All right. All right. So over here, okay, we talk about school newsletters, TVs that highlight environmental campaigns. All right, and relate. Maybe they talk about student achievements in the conservation section. All right, and also school garden to encourage healthy practices. All right, as well as classroom waste is sorted by students into recyclables and non-recyclables. Okay, I remember in primary school we did that. All right, it was such a messy thing because everyone was running everywhere. Yeah, but it was a great experience, definitely. Okay, eco clubs run clean food programs to combine cleanups with educational talks. All right, interesting as well. All right, rainwater harvesting systems are used to water school gardens. All right, so these are all things that you can write down. All right, all great options. All right. Okay, how can families conserve water effectively? Ooh, that's a big one. Does anyone have any answers? I've just been giving you guys answers that entire time. Any answers? I'm gonna give you guys like what, 5 seconds? Okay. Does anyone have any answers? Okay, so okay, now let's take a look. Okay, take shorter showers. Okay, take shorter showers. Take shorter showers is a great one that teachers always love to bring up. All right, I remember my teachers will always bring that up when we're talking about conservation. Okay, showers of 3 to 4 minutes. All right, to reduce water wastage. Okay, to turn off the tap when brushing teeth and use cup to avoid water wastage. Okay, lathering hands. I think we talked about that previously in we talked about that in the previous live, that I was telling you guys how I don't use cups. I always do this with my hands and I drink, like I gargle my mouth like this. And weirdly enough, a lot of people do that as well. I always thought that I was the only one, right? Because people usually do this, right? And I was like, huh, I do this though. Okay, so yeah. Okay, turn off the tap when brushing teeth. Use a cup to avoid water wastage. Lathering hands. All right. Fix leaking taps promptly. Okay, that is also very, very important. All right. You make sure that you are not, just wasting as much as you can. All right, with the water is just like flowing. All right. High revolve. All right. Build your swimming pools indoors instead of outdoors to reduce evaporation. That's a good option as well. But they also have those, what do you call that? Those pool covers. Those really, really massive ones that you can cover your swimming pool with to avoid like evaporation. And if I'm not wrong, it also prevents the water from being too hot when you guys if you guys are gonna use it. Alright. Use water from washing machine to wash the car. Yes, that's a great option as well. Yes, yes. Okay. I'll write that down. Okay, water from washing machine to wash cars. Okay, and you can also use the water used to wash vegetables to water plants. All right, those rice water. Rice water is actually super good for plants. All right, I never ever had a green thumb, so even if I used rice water, it didn't really work for very long. But with people with green thumbs, every single time they use rice water, it just blooms, it just blossoms. All right. Okay, use washing machines with full loads to avoid wasted cycles. All right, and also to collect rainwater for gardening. All right. Okay, so these are all great options. Okay, next page. Describe a local environmental initiative you admire. Okay, now this is the one that students sometimes they struggle with because I think a few of you in the live that you guys will like, but I don't do any local initiatives. Right? Okay, it is important that you guys can still read up on these things so you at least have something to bring up during the exam. All right. All right. Okay, so does anyone have any answers? Okay. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, NEA supported Clean Hood program that teaches both cleanup and presentation methods. All right. So also we have Bishan East Community in Bloom Gardens offers veggies to residents and operates a community fridge. Right. So that is pretty cool. Describe a local environmental initiative. Okay, we have to really focus on the fact that it is local as well. Okay, so that is important and that it is for the environment as well. Okay. Okay, so community gardening at Johor Estate reflects ancestral kampong gardening values. Okay, organizations that donate food that can be sold at supermarkets. All right, youth cleanups at coastal beaches involve students supporting marine conservation. Picking up trash on the beach, yes, that is great. That's a great one. All right, I did that as well. It was really really hot. The sun made things super uncomfortable, during the Singapore sun. But I think it was a great experience, right? Definitely, it is something that you can share. Okay, I will share a bit about what we did that day for further detail because beach cleanups are one of the best. I don't know. I just personally have always used that answer. All right. So for the beach cleanups, definitely what you do, you can go in groups. Okay, that's what we did. You go in groups, and then you get a massive trash bag, and then what you do is you pick up trash with like thongs, all right? Please don't use your hands, all right? And then maybe you have a little break. Okay, you had a very fun break. That's what we did. We went to 7-Eleven and we all had microwave food, and it was very, very fun sitting around with our microwave food. I don't know why microwave food was so interesting to us back then. I have no idea why, but it was such a treat. We just bought whatever we want. We had ice cream, we had drinks, and we just sat around. And then after that, we just talked. And then later on, we went back to continue picking up rubbish. And afterwards, we got like a picture with us holding up the trash bags like this. So it was really, really fun and really, really cool. Okay, so it was a great experience, right? So yes, also there is the NParks tree planting event that reflects Garden City legacy and ecological education. These are all things that you can bring up, all right? So these are all great answers, by the way. Okay, why is it important to have green spaces like parks and nature reserves? Okay, what answers do you guys have? Okay, again, why is it important to have green spaces such as parks and nature reserves? Anything else that might need change? Okay, so first things first, okay, we have to really highlight the fact that these are green spaces. Okay, we can start thinking a bit about what are the characteristics of these green spaces and what makes them so, perfect for the environment. Okay, green spaces give oxygen. Yes, you can say that as well. Clear the air. Clear the air. Great for neighborhoods. Okay, now green space and making more shade. Okay, yes, that is great. Okay, so you can also say school science classes are used in these places for ecological projects. All right, we did that as well. It was super fun. All right, park connectors encourage walking and cycling, aligning with active SG goals. All right, provide habitats for native wildlife. All right, that is super important. All right, reduce urban heat by supporting Garden City efforts from 1967. All right. Okay, green spaces also offer quiet spaces for stress relief. Okay, garden areas around residential estate also builds community bonds, and it, like Aizen said, clears the air and it's great for neighborhoods. Okay, and it also provides shade, which is also great for neighborhoods, right? So these are all great reasons why it is important to have green spaces like parks and nature reserves. Okay, so now these are all great answers. Okay, we'll go through one last one. Yeah, before this live ends, we will go back on live in a few minutes. All right. Okay, so cloth gift wrap instead of dispensable. Oh, the question. All right. What eco habits could you improve personally? Ooh. Now that is quite interesting. Okay, so you can use a cloth gift wrap instead of disposable plastic wrap. All right, so that is quite interesting. All right, does anyone have any other answers? All right, any other answers? Okay, we will write down everyone's answers here. Okay, so that you guys can share it and use it during your own composition. Okay, contributing also helps you guys to learn. Okay, especially since we're also close to the oral exam. All right, this is a great way for you guys to practice what you guys have learned. Okay, so actually prepare for your exam. Actually pretend that these questions are your exam questions right now, and then you can have a bit of an idea, what your answers might be, and we can like jot it down together. All right. Okay. Cloth gift wrap instead of disposable plastic wrap. Shower duration can be shortened to 3 minutes or less. All right. I don't know how you shower in 2 minutes though. Interesting. All right. Take what you to prevent wastage. All right. Take what you need. Oh my goodness. Take what you need to prevent wastage. All right. Take only what you need. Okay. Reduce purchase of bottled drinks by bringing personal water filter flask. All right, so these are all okay. Aizen says eco-friendly straws. Okay. use eco-friendly straws. Instead. Plastic straws. Alright. Okay, so what you can do is also to reduce, okay, we already said that. Participate in beach and park cleanups to support coastal protection. Alright. For example, there is an edible straw. I've only heard of paper straws.
Yeah, there is.
There is edible straws.
Yeah,
Wait.
we did those. Yeah.
No, but what is it made of?
They kind of like the one that I've heard is like fruits, and then they kind of like burn it and they dry it. Yeah, but I know some of them make it via other things. So basically, you also eat it now when you're done using it as food.
What, wouldn't it become like super soggy?
I'm not sure, but yeah, they do have it now.
Because I dislike like the, what do you call that? I dislike the paper ones because it gets super. It is a thing. Oh wow.
Pretty cool, right?
Oh wow. That is so cool. Huh. That is so cool. Edible rice drinking straws. Jolly Rancher edible straws. Oh my goodness, so like candy. That
yeah,
is
correct.
that might be that might be so bad for your health. But yeah, that sounds Fruit Loop crunchy straws. Whoa, that would be super soggy. I just know it. So yeah, super interesting. Okay, it is possible for everyone to read up a bit more about this. And for example, there's an shirt is made of. Oh, but wouldn't that get soggy? It should get soggy, right? Interesting. All right. So we are currently at 4 o'clock. Okay, we will be pausing for a bit and switching around before coming back. All right. We will see you guys soon.